Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and Blender is hiring. Now Blender is one of the most important pieces of software, especially in the open source computer graphics world or the game development world. And if you want to be part of that team, well, they are hiring for a handful of different positions. And the thing is, Blender has a decent amount of funding behind it. If you go to the Blender Development Fund, you'll see they make $210,000 in monthly contributions. Plus we've got a number of very large corporate sponsors. Those sponsors include the likes of AMD, Intel, Meta, again, AWS, Decentraland, Unity, NVIDIA, Epic gave them a giant mega grant, NetEase Games, eGirl Capital, and a whole lot more. It's almost a who's who. Adobe, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and on it goes. So the key thing is, how do they spend this money? And the interesting thing about them hiring is it also gives you an idea of where their priorities and development efforts are. So if you're not in the EU, you're not looking for a job, you may also be interested in this just because it sort of showcases where the focuses are at Blender, the area where they want more expertise, because the team is, as we will see in a few minutes, not actually that big. So there are a number of current openings. The most listed right now, there is one for geometry/hair/physics nodes engineer. Now, geometry nodes are a big part of Blender, so obviously adding someone to work on geometry nodes to their team makes a lot of sense. So you're going to work on quality and high performance of node systems in game/film production. You want 5+ years of experience in procedural physics simulation tools for 3D for film or games. Good understanding of modern C++. Engineering and design experience are welcome, or required, I suppose. And this is based out of the Amsterdam HQ. They're also hiring, again, out of the Amsterdam HQ, a rendering developer. So this would be the team that maintains advanced rendering in Blender. That would be the Cycles team, working together on projects such as texture layering, painting, and baking systems, efficient rendering of heavy geometry and textures, Cycles advanced light transport algorithms, and material interchange and USD Hydra integration. So as I said, these job applications actually give you a bit of insight into the development perspective or priorities over at Blender. Also looking at improving the stability and performance of GPU hardware devices and backends, and investigate and fix bugs. Again, that's an HQ position as well. They're looking for a senior character animation systems developer. Now, they actually just got a bunch of money. Who was it? Was it Ubisoft? To work specifically on animations? No, I think it was Amazon. The AWS grant was around animations, I believe. So this is probably direct fruits of that. So you're working on getting Blender's character animation system ready for the next decade. 5+ years of animation tools development, including UI, engineering and design skills, documentation wizard, communication skills. Again, this is an HQ job. And then we have the first non-HQ job, and that is specifically to to hire a macOS developer. So this is to improve the macOS user experience in Blender, make it integrate better with macOS hardware devices and operating system features. Now, the funny thing is, Apple themselves actually just recently started working with Blender to improve Apple support. So it looks like they're going to hire someone dedicated to that process. So extend and optimize the metal backends for viewport rendering, compositing, to support new Blender features and improve performance, maintain build systems, libraries, and packages for Mac OS, investigate and fix platform-specific bugs. So you need to have 3+ years of Mac OS experience. This one is a remote position possible, so I guess if you want to work in Amsterdam, you can do so, but this is also available remotely. So if you are a Mac OS developer with Metal and Cocoa support, that one is definitely worth checking out. But on top of that, they're looking for a number of other positions. So if you're in these areas and looking and you're interested, give them a shout. So here you're looking at Studio and Pipeline integration developer, core Blender developers, and user interface developers are things they are also looking for. In terms of what you get out of this, senior starting salaries are 58k euro annually. I did a quick check to see what that is. We'll get back to it in just a second for an Amsterdam area. So 1-year contract for 3-month probate. After that is an indefinite contract. I don't really know how labor laws work in Europe. I believe being a contractor in Europe isn't as bad as it is in North America, where you're kind of a slave. That will be an interesting distinction, because generally over here in North America, you get zero job security and you get a lot less perks, such as medical, etc., but you tend to get paid a whole lot more. So this isn't a paid a whole lot more salary by North American standards. So I don't know what the deal is for the contract, but if you're a European developer and know the specifics, let me know in the comments down below if being a contractor isn't a big deal over there. They'll help you with the permits and finding an apartment in Amsterdam. Remote, if you could work remotely, they use a third-party payroll service, flexible work hours, and this is something that North America needs to pay more attention to. You expect to take a minimum of 4 weeks off plus national holidays and you can take more time off than that. So more holidays is always nice, especially when a lot of us are used to like 2 weeks as being the standard. So that is the jobs that they're currently hiring for at Blender. As I mentioned earlier on, the team is actually pretty small. So out of they're listing right now for people at the Blender HQ, you're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 21 people are at the HQ. So hiring another 4 or 5 for the HQ is a pretty sizable, like again, it's a 20% increase in staff size. So it is worth talking about. Then we also have the online team. These are the remotes. And here you're looking at another 10 people. So the entire Blender team of full-time paid Blender developers is not actually that big. So it's an interesting to see them growing at this rate. And I thought it was worthy of doing a video. So again, back to the salary side of things. I checked with PayScale, just a site I picked at random. Apparently a software engineer salary in the Netherlands is generally an average around 53,000 euro. So obviously salaries vary massively from region to region. I don't know what it's like normally in Europe for this kind of position, but it does seem like the salaries and such that are being offered, the 58K, is pretty normal for this type of position in that type of location. I do believe Amsterdam is pretty expensive. I also hear it's beautiful to live at. So yeah, a number of jobs over at Blender. Let me know what you think. Are you interested in applying to any of them? And do you think that this is a good step forward for Blender to grow its permanent in-house team? Or should they depend more on the open source contributions? I always like to see teams like this grow. The Godot game engine is also growing in terms of the number of people working full-time on it. And look how much faster both of these two projects are expanding as a result. So good to hear. Hopefully it works out. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.